season for the ages, something that content out there is talking about just how good this season was for them, and we've touched upon it now. And now the question is, where do we go from here? Well, does the team do anything? What should they do? We had the NBA draft. They drafted with the number 15 pick and took on a second rounder as well. And the offseason is about to begin. We're recording this on a Sunday. Tomorrow starts free agency. We got a lot of stuff that's going on, as we spoke about throughout our podcast. The NBA offseason waits for nobody. So as we're looking into the best season by far in franchise history, one of the best seasons in NBA history, Clemente, what are your thoughts on what do they do this offseason? Is there anything you're seeing out there, anything you're hearing that, oh, maybe that might happen, or maybe this should happen, or is there anything that you want them to be doing? Do you want them to improve anywhere? What do you think?
I mean, I just think you got to run it back, right? I mean, everybody's under contract for one more year. I know the Thunder already shipped away Dylan Jones to the Wizards, but that was to make space for Thomas Sorber, the 15th pick that they added in the draft to their 15-player roster. But, I mean, J-Will got extended just now this morning. I really think you just got to run it back. You sign, I think the biggest transactions they might make in this offseason is, sign Chet and Jalen Williams to extensions because they will be extension eligible. I think it's pretty open and shut case there that they'll get extended. Shea might get extended, getting the Supermax, but if he waits one more year to next offseason, I think he'll be able to make a little bit more. So either way, I think Shea will sign a new deal as well, because why would you want to leave the situation? But besides that, I mean, like I said, you just got to run it back. I mean, the Thunder are the rare NBA champion where their entire roster is under the books for at least one more year, and it's just one of the situations where it's like, why fix something that's not broken? So I don't know. I would expect a pretty boring offseason from OKC, and just give, I guess, fans more time to celebrate the title that they just won.
I'm hopeful. This is a little bit of like a wishful thinking. I would really love this team to sign Russ on a veterans minimum for us to be okay with it, and let him win a ring, and have him be come on the court when it's necessary for him to bring a little bit of energy, or just kind of play his role well, but let him feel a little bit of the fruits of his labor that he helped cultivate in this environment.
In that case, why don't we just let's get Serge Ibaka back. Let's get Kendrick Perkins back.
No,
get him back from ESPN, and let's just put him in here.
No, we don't want any Bill Simmons garbage smoke. Please no.
Perk's a fun dude. I say it as if I'm buddies with him. I've never spoken with him in my entire life. I mean, everything you guys are saying makes sense. It's just what
will happen.
Don't fix what isn't broke. And I find that with a lot of teams, or teams that have won the championship, first of all, that idea of going back to back is just, it's so difficult. You've seen some teams do it, but it's extremely difficult. And it's a copycat league. And what is that teams are going to say, okay, what did OKC do this year? And how are we going to beat it? And the thought of them coming back with the same exact thing and just say, all right, try to beat it. There's something that I just I'm not sure. And it doesn't mean that I'm right. I'm just trying to think, is there any other piece that they could bring on? Is there any other thing that they could do to potentially make some change or add something more to this roster that will give them just like this little bit of a change, that coming into next season, every team isn't just saying, all right, we know exactly what to do, because if we just watch the tape from this past year, it's the same team.
Yeah, I mean, there's already a little bit of a change with, I guess, like Nikola Topic, who's coming back this year, like 19-year-old rookie who, saw his draft stock kind of fall last year because of a torn ACL, but that was one of the weak points for OKC, I guess, is they didn't really have a backup point guard who can really handle the offense. But like at the same time, I don't know how much of a backup point guard you need whenever you have Jalen Williams being the main ball handler of the second unit. But that's an area that was kind of a little bit of weakness there. But I mean, Topic might be an answer to that. AJ Mitchell is another guy who played well before he was out for 3 months with toe surgery as well. Another rookie who played well. But like I don't know. I mean, I guess the biggest area they can improve on, like I said earlier, was probably their outside shooting because I mean they were. I mean, I think they shot like 29% from free in the finals. Like they were just not the best team from free.
Chet himself was like under 15%.
Yeah, Chet. That was probably Chet's worst offensive playoff series ever. Like he made up for it on the defensive end, but offensively, like it looked pretty bad there sometimes. But they need to get some 3-point shooting. Is probably the biggest concern. I mean, they were like league average during the regular season, but in the playoffs, you kind of saw that they got a roster full of guys who may not be playoff risers in those moments. So I just wonder if they might go after somebody that can stretch the floor, who can knock down shots from the outside in the playoffs. I think a popular name during last year's trade deadline was Cam Johnson from Brooklyn. Nothing ever really materialized out of that, but I think that's like a little bit of wish casting as well. I think Cam Johnson would require a lot to get from Brooklyn, but like maybe that type of caliber player where it's a wing that could shoot from the outside, that can handle the ball a little. Um, Maybe try getting that type of archetypal player to the team, but I mean, easier said than done. Like I'm sure 29 other teams would also love to have that type of player on the roster as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, those are like really the only two, I guess, weak spots of the Thunder's roster last year was that they didn't really have a true backup point guard that could run the offense, and they didn't really have, like actual real 3-point shooters who could, translate their regular season numbers over to the playoffs. And despite that, they still won a title. So who knows?
Well, I'll tell you who you're not getting for 3-point shooting. Malik Beasley. But that might be too soon. But we'll see what happens. Levi, what were you about to say there?
Do you think that they have confidence, like, because this team is so young, right? Such a lack of experience within the playoffs, like, going deeper in the playoffs, like last year, of course. But do you think that this team has confidence in both Isaiah Joe, I guess, and Aaron Wiggins, who are the guys who are kind of more carrying them on the three? Like, Lou really, really helped them out in the finals with his 3-point shooting in a few of the games. Do you think that they have confidence in these, more of their role players to have, more time under the belt to perform better in future playoff runs?
I mean, I think if you gave him true serum, I just don't know how you can. Like, we had 2 playoff runs now where I think, to Wiggins' credit, like, even when the outside shot didn't fall, he found other ways to contribute. Like, he's a really great at attacking the basket. He can create his own bucket. And that's why you saw him stay in a rotation throughout the finals. But someone like Isaiah Joe, like, I don't know, we're 2 playoff runs in. Like, he's a great regular season guy. Like, he'll get his numbers in the regular season, but in the playoffs, he's kind of struggled to continue that. And you saw his playing time dwindle to the point where he was like a DNP in game 7 of the finals. So I don't know. I just, I think we've seen a large enough sample size now in these 2 playoff runs where you can kind of tell like who is and isn't a playoff riser. And I really think those 2 guys, I mean, Wiggins could definitely help out, but Joe, like it's been kind of a struggle for him for sure.
Yeah.
I want to, I think I want to phrase this. It's one of these where, as a Nets fan, it's the most depressing thing in the entire world. But I can tell you back in the day, although they never won the ship, what it was like having J. Kidd and Vince Carter on the team, and just like how much it meant to have these guys on the team, because they just totally changed the course of that roster when they were there. For you guys, what does Shea mean to you? Like, what does it mean to have like Shea as your guy on your team and just be the man?
Well, I think the OKC mayor, David Holt, said it best whenever he did his speech at the parade. Like, he's the greatest player in Thunder history. Like, I think he's better than Russ, better than KD. Like individually speaking, like he's only 26 years old. He's already had 30-point seasons already. Um, 3 All-NBA first team seasons. Just won MVP, finished runner up last year. He's doing all this at 26 years old. Like it's just crazy what he's accomplished, and it's just kind of tough to like view it historically because you're living in it day by day. But I mean, when you look at what Shea's done up to this point of his career, I mean, it's the same type of stuff that Michael Jordan did, Kobe Bryant did, Steph Curry a little bit as well. Like Shea is going to go down as like one of the best 15 players ever, and it's just a little surreal to see that happening in OKC, and especially from what Shea like his trajectory. Like when he first got traded here, he wasn't even the headliner of the deal. It was all the draft picks they got, and for him to kind of develop the way he has altered the franchise forever. Um, and now the Thunder have one of the best players in the league for the foreseeable future. And like you said, like they're best set up to contend for multiple titles now, mostly because of him. So it's been super surreal just kind of see Shea kind of develop the way he has to where I thought when he first got here, like yeah, he can make maybe a couple of All-Star appearances, but I don't think he'll ever be like a good enough player to be the best player on a title contender. So for him, and I was saying that just 3 years ago too. So it's not like that was like forever ago. So for him to kind of just skyrocket his way through, the best players in the league, and be regarded as one of the best, top 3 guys in the league and win an MVP has been kind of crazy. And it's the whole reason why the Thunder are just kind of where they're at right now.
I want to give a big shout out to Jay Skeets of No Dunks now. Sorry, almost said their old show's name, who wagered that Shea would be an all-star also 3 years ago. That was the cap. Was everyone was saying an all-star? What are you talking about? This is like I wouldn't rather another player be the best player on my team. Honestly, that's like a crazy thing. There's so much talent in the NBA. He's just dedicated. He's exactly what you would want out of a superstar who's committed to the team, committed to basketball, committed to his teammates, and just knows what you got to do and works day in and day out. It's incredible.
It's awesome. Maybe one day for me that'll be
You'll know
Igor Demin or something like that. But let's see what happens. Clemente, I want to end off with any big off-season moves you think is going to happen, not just for the Thunder, but across the NBA. Of whether it's stuff you're hearing or stuff that's just coming from in here, or what big things you think are coming?
Yeah, I know Sham said that this is going to be like the biggest offseason ever, but I don't know. I think you might have prematurely said that. There's really not that big free agent that teams meet with. Really, like free agency is kind of dead. Like guys usually just sign deals to the team, and if they don't like the fit, they just request a trade. Like trading for guys is like the top way to get a top star anyway. But I don't know. I think the biggest move's already probably been made, which is KD to the Rockets. I really think they're probably one of the 3 best teams that the Thunder are going to have to face next year. I think obviously OKC is going to enter next year as the favorite to repeat again, but I really like KD's fit to the Rockets. He's exactly what they needed. Like we saw it in the Warriors series, they just didn't have a guy to go to get them a bucket down the stretch. And KD's like the guy to go to for that. Even at, what is he, 37 years old now? Like he's still out there averaging 25 plus on a bad Suns team. So I really like the KD to Rockets move. I think Houston's probably the second or third best team in the West now because of it. And they didn't really have to give up anything serious to get him. Like Jalen Green was probably on his way out anyway. Dylan Brooks is a nice role player, but you'll take KD over him any day. And obviously the draft capital is cool, but you're trying to win right now, and KD is like the ultimate win now player. So I really like that move for sure. And I just hope, as an aside, I hope it's the Rockets in OKC for the season opener, just so KD can see Shea and them get their ring in front of him. That make for great TV.
Can I ask one last question on my end? What, being that you were there for all the proceedings, what's your take on the Indiana team?
I mean, they kind of surprised me to be honest, because I thought the series would end in 5, but I just think this is a team that just they kind of remind me of last year's Mavs, where it was a team that was middling in the regular season, and then they just got hot in the playoffs and rode that momentum all the way to the finals. And I mean, to push OKC to 7 games, like that's quite an accomplishment for sure. And they can always hang on the fact that if Halliburton was healthy, maybe they would have pulled off one of the greatest
It was
upsets
7
ever.
minutes. It was 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
But I don't know. Like, if you're a Pacers fan, like I was at Indiana for all 3 finals games. The crowds there were super cool. Everybody in the city was, really revolved their lives around the Pacers for those 2 months. And I mean, even though they didn't win a championship, that was the best season they've ever had. It's just a little bittersweet that ended it the way they did, because now Halliburton's out, probably gonna be out all next year, and with Achilles injuries, you just don't know how guys come back from that as well. So it just sucks that their season ended the way it did. I definitely understand why Halliburton and the Pacers played through it, knowing the risk of it. But I mean, that said, like, I know emotions are probably still super raw for Pacers fans, considering what happened in Game 7, losing their franchise player for a year, and not knowing how he'll come back. But you just gotta, making the finals itself is tough, is a tough feat. Um, and if you're a Pacers fan, I think eventually you'll be able to look back at the season with fondness, knowing that, like I said, it's the best season that the franchise has ever had.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the most Canadian players we're ever going to get in finals?
I mean, unless his teams meet up again, probably. Like, I don't know who else could join, because I mean, this was like Canada's like 4 or 5 best players out there.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Clemente, it's amazing having you on. It's amazing getting your knowledge and your experience and everything that comes with following this team for how long you've been doing it, and now the pleasure that you get from seeing them win the championship. So thank you so much for coming on, and please tell the fans where they can find you and what content you guys are putting out.
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me on Twitter at C Almanza 1007. I put all my work out there as well. And then for my articles, you can find me on OKCThunderWire.com, part of USA Today Sports Media Group. Daily articles there. Cover all types of things about OKC. Been covering the team for 4 or 5 years now, so it's been super surreal to kind of have like a firsthand experience of seeing this team go from this rebuilding squad to this young playing team to back-to-back first seeds to now a champion. So to kind of have a, I guess, first row experience of that has been super cool to see unfold as well. But I mean, yeah, I mean, Breakdown as well. My OKC Thunder podcast, give that a listen to as well. But yeah, I mean, that's really it.
Amazing. We're gonna. All the stuff will be linked down in the description down below. Make sure to check out all the different season recaps that we're putting out, and our daily recap that comes out every day by 6 a.m. And Levi, it's always fun. Thank you so much. And to all those listening, thank you so much. Have a good day.